Janelle, you there? Janelle. Hello? Hello? Can you hear me? Yeah. Okay.
Okie dokie. I'm ready.
Okay. All right, 10 seconds. Welcome back to the We Was Watching podcast. I'm your host, Brandon.
I'm your other host, Chanel.
And we are back to talk about The Chair Company, Season 1, Episode 3. But before we get into
this is a chaotic ass show.
Yeah, I have some thoughts on this. But before we get into this episode, if you're listening to us on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, leave us a review. If it's 5 stars, we'll read it on the show. You can also watch us on YouTube at youtube.com/@WeWasWatching, or just search for the We Was Watching podcast. Like our video, subscribe to our channel, and hit the notification bell so you can see us go live, which we are streaming live right now. You can email us at wewaswatchingpodcast@gmail.com. Tell us what you think about the show, any theories you have on the shows that we're watching, and we'll read those on the show as well. And you can also follow us on social media at all the different social medias at We Was Watching. But before we get into this episode, we are going to talk about what we've been on.
Don't watch TV.
So I'm going to go first this time because I had to tell Chanel that there was these two groups in the 90s, these two different like companies, rap groups. So she froze. So, she froze because, I'm telling the truth. That were from New Orleans, and they came up and made a big impact in the hip hop industry. And so they did a verses because of these people. And so I told Chanel, you should watch this because, you may not know all, I know you know some of these songs, but you may not know all of these songs, and you might find it interesting. But guess what? It wasn't that interesting. The music was fine. I liked listening to the music, but I'm gonna need a little bit more energy out of everybody that's not named Juvenile and Mia X. Everybody else is just kind of standing around, not giving too much energy. Master P was trying, but he's old, so he can only run in place. So he was trying. But like Manny Fresh and Baby were.
He was given the na.
He was given something. And Lil Wayne didn't show up. Turk didn't show up, of course, because somebody got beef with. Everybody has beef with Baby. So he couldn't get his whole crew there. Master P did get his whole crew there. So they did still rock with, well, everyone except the serial sex offender. He wasn't there, but everyone else was there.
Oh wow. Okay, I'm here.
Yeah, I don't know what the hell Chanel was doing if you were watching, but she was going through it.
I got a new. I just realized I was using the wrong camera, so here we are. Do I look better? Do I look crystal clear?
You look the same.
I look the same. No, okay, I need somebody from YouTube to confirm that this is better quality because this is 1080p.
Is it 1080p?
Is it? Does it not look like 1080p? Doesn't you don't see a difference for real?
No, you
Well,
look the
if I put
same.
the light on, that's insane. Okay, well, sorry about that, guys.
You just cut into my whole spiel
You acknowledged me.
because you were moving around and blocking the camera and doing all types of crazy shit. What you mean I acknowledged you? But I watched it because the music is part of me. And so it's part of my childhood. So I wanted to go back and listen. Well, my young, what do you call it? Teenager. I was in high school towards the end of it. So teenagers. And it was very cool to see them. Mia X looked great. She beat cancer and still rap. She was doing great. Juvenile, always as cool as hell. So it was good to see those two. And you know what's funny? Lil Wayne was in Las Vegas. He was in Las Vegas that same night. But apparently he said that he didn't want to go if everybody wasn't going to show up. And once Turk didn't come, Lil Wayne was like, I'm not coming. So he didn't come. So he wanted it to be the whole crew, and the whole crew didn't show up, so he didn't show up. So that's what happened with the verses, but it was good to see. And
You know what's crazy? I missed it. Thank you for putting it on my radar. I appreciated it. I don't like when you act like I don't know things because I am definitely a fan of both. But thank you for that recap because the culture needed it. It sounded like you had a good time, but it could have been better.
it could have been a lot, but it was cool. I didn't expect Snoop to show up, so that was cool.
That's real. And when he played Down for My Niggas,
Yeah.
So did they do any Lil Wayne verses or they just skipped over all of them?
They played a Millie. And yes, the one Lil Wayne song.
Skipped his verse. They must have skipped his verses though. Like 500 Degrees. Did they just skip and just
They
go around
played his verse, and then they 400 Degrees, and then they
400 Degrees. Oh yeah.
and then they skipped his
remade
verse
it.
on the Hot Boys. I Need a Hot Girl. They didn't play his verse on that song because they didn't want to play Turk's verse. So they skipped that whole verse.
Turk?
I think
This is
Turk
like how
and
when you
Baby.
said that
I think Turk and Baby got beef. But
who
guess
did you
who
say
was on
wasn't
stage
important
twerking?
before?
Guess who was on stage? Guess who was on stage twerking? Chanel. Your girl.
Snoop Dogg's wife.
No, your girl. Tamar
Keep it
Braxton.
Why would you say that's my girl based on what?
It was a joke.
Oh, I mean, I haven't brought her up either way on this show. Oh, no. First of all, Toni Braxton is who you mean.
No, I know who Toni Braxton is. Tamar Braxton was on stage twerking.
So she was there but you know why she's there.
Yes,
Why?
because her sister is married to Baby.
Okay. Good for
But
you.
Tony wasn't there. Tamar was there.
She was there representing for the Braxtones.
Kelly Price was on stage
She
too,
was-
on the No Limit side.
She was throwing that wham.
No, not really. Kelly Price was there, hanging out with
That's a
Master P.
blessing. I'm glad she's still with us because that is definitely one of the singers I thought was gone already. So I'm so glad
was
Kelly
there.
Price is still
She didn't
alive.
say nothing. She was
Yeah.
just
No, I'm just glad because like
on
we lost
stage.
a bunch of R&B singers, and in my head, Kelly Price is on that list. I'm just so glad that God saw fit for her to still be here.
Yeah, she was just on stage. Silk the Shocker still can't rap on beat. So he's still
He's on the
terrible.
1s and 3s for sure. Did he do dun, 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 we like them girls? Did they play that? We
No.
like them girls. Dun, dun,
No, they
dun.
didn't play that.
That was my shit. And Romeo didn't come out? They really missed out
Romeo
on
was
that one.
there, but they didn't play none of his songs.
Yeah, they needed to, because that would have won. Believe it or not, I know that wouldn't have won, but that would have won a certain demographic, because there's a certain demographic, mine, that is core. That is a core memory. Like I still, Little Soldiers Need Love. I could do it karaoke any time. I don't have to look at the screen. I could look at you the whole time and do Little Soldiers Need Love.
Hold on. Code Knox says nobody remembers Turk's verse anyway. Everybody remembers Turk's verse
Question.
from "I Need a Hot Girl."
Hey,
That's the
Code
best
Knox.
verse on the song. What you
But here's my
mean?
thing: who did we talk about? And you said that person. It was a member of a group, and you said they weren't important. Who was it? You said somebody wasn't important. I think Turk is on that list of people who like.
Turk is not important overall, but he is important on that song.
But who did you say wasn't important? I looked somebody up, and you said they're not important. Damn.
I don't remember
We
what
need
you're
a
talking about.
historian. You just be talking. No, you said it, but you just don't remember. I wish you would say I don't remember, and not you don't remember what I'm talking about, because you said it.
That's
But
what
I
I just
don't remember
said.
what you're talking about. But it implies that I'm making it up.
No, saying I don't remember. I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, I don't know
Also,
what you're talking about. I don't remember. Okay, that's two different things.
also, they didn't play Laylo, which was upsetting. They had a chance to get Nate Dogg in the show.
Wait. Is Nate Dogg still alive?
No, he's no longer with us.
That's what I'm about to say. I was like, you're confusing me now, because I know, because
That's
like
why I said they had a
you
chance
already-
to get him on the show.
Oh, you mean like hologram?
No, like his chorus in the song.
I'm surprised they didn't. Oh, I guess. Oh, you're right. I'm overthinking it, because there's so many songs that would have just been that I'm thinking about that are just Tupac, Dr. Dre, and not
Yeah, that
involved
was
in
Death
this. They're
Row.
just West Coast songs.
That was before
Right.
Snoop
Okay.
left
Right.
to go down
Correct.
south.
Okay. So it was also Aftermath. Do you know what that's from?
Yeah, I know, but the aftermath.
Aftermath. No, but do you know what that? I'm doing it a specific way. Aftermath.
It's probably
You
some
don't remember that?
TikTok meme. I don't know.
No, it's at the very, very, very end of Straight Outta Compton. Corey Hawkins is walking away in his like denim suit and his denim jacket, and he goes, "What happens next?" Aftermath, and that's like the last words in Straight Outta Compton, and it fades to black. He gets his moment to spotlight Aftermath.
I try to
remember that
forget.
because I was like, they are
Aftermath.
really making this man a god amongst men, and just skipped over all the other stuff. So anyway, shout out to Corey Hawkins. That's bad. Oh, any chance a Zaddy alert meter is ready?
No. You never
Are
told
you
me what sound to
boycotting
get.
I need some type of alert type sound, and then I need the word Zaddy alert. I can record it, or we can get AI to record
No,
it.
we're not getting you to record it. We can do better than
But
that.
we need a Zaddy alert, because they're gonna happen a lot. Because Corey Hawkins is a Zaddy alert. And sorry, now that you're here, thank you for that recap. We needed it. I felt like that was kind of a randomly scheduled versus, but I appreciate it. Like I remember after the pandemic, Swiss Beats and Timberland sold it for like $1 billion, and then it was like, oh, nobody wants anymore because the culture's not involved, and then they brought it back. So who knows who got paid off of this? But that's great.
Well, they did it at some con in Las Vegas, which
I mean, that's
totally
smart.
didn't make any. No, it's not smart. You don't take two groups from New Orleans and then have them do it in Las Vegas to a con audience.
I'm going to speak out of turn here, but I also think that one of the issues here is Lil Wayne's attitude. Because how are you that butthurt? You're so butthurt because you didn't get the Super Bowl, which I'm not going to lie to you. I could have seen a Lil Wayne Super Bowl outside of who he is right now, based on catalog. We could have had a Lil Wayne Super Bowl. That's a fact. Like Lil Wayne's catalog.
No, we couldn't have, because Lil Wayne can't perform, and the Super Bowl is about performing.
You're not listening. No, let me get there. Catalog wise, Super Bowlable. Current performance wise, all he would be doing is stringing out on that guitar, right? So no, he can't do it. But I think that one way to get people to say, oh shit, we need maybe he's like, oh, my moment passed, I'm never gonna do it, who cares? But if you wanted to drum up some support and say, okay, Kendrick, you had your moment, whatever, you got your Emmy, that's great, but now I want to do it again. You could have come out and really did a show. You know what I'm saying? He could have really showed us what we're missing if he really wanted to do that. So I think sometimes it's like you should be happy for other people, because the truth is sometimes they're ready and you're not. And I know that's like a weird thing to say because I'm speaking out of turn. I don't know Lil Wayne's life, but that's what it feels like to me. Like if you could have really came out and showed people, oh man, I missed this, I really want to see it. For example, the verses, the Mario, was it Mario versus, it wasn't Lloyd, it couldn't have been Lloyd, it might have been Lloyd, Mario, whoever he did his verses against, right?
Sounds
It might
like
have been Lloyd.
Lloyd. Sounds
I
right.
was in my room. It was still early pandemic turn, so I think it was pre-vaccine. I was in my room and they were watching the verses, and I was feeling nostalgia. And I looked up, and guess who was performing in Detroit the very next night?
Nobody. It was in the pandemic.
No, it was 2021. Mario, Lloyd, they were on tour the next night in Detroit. So I bought a last minute ticket, and
You
I
just
went
said
to
it
that
was
concert.
pre-vaccine. That's clearly after the
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
vaccine.
No, it was outside. So Shane Park, previously Shane Park, now the Aretha, is an outdoor stadium, and it was summertime.
Okay.
I don't. When you pause, I don't know if you're looking up what I'm saying, or if you just aren't. If you're not fucking with it.
I don't think that's what happened. I think
That is.
Mario did it versus with somebody else. Marion.
Oh, okay. But then on tour was Mario, Lloyd.
And that was 2022. So that was way after the vaccine.
When did the vaccine come out?
Not
I don't think I was
2022.
vaccinated.
Not
I
June of
wasn't vaccinated.
2022. What are you talking about?
When did we all get back? I don't think I got vaccinated. I think I had to wait. Didn't you have to wait?
No.
I probably was vaccinated by 2022. You're right. But anyway, it was outdoors. Here's the thing. I think I caught COVID at the concert. That's the point I'm trying to get to. So it was a wild time. It was outdoors, and I still got sick right after that. And I think I remember just being pissed off because I would stay in the house for a long time, and I would do right, and I would wear my mask, and I would go out and do something social, and it, like with the mask on or without a mask on, whatever, and get sick immediately. That happened to me over and over. Anyway, that's what verses is supposed to be about, and it's really smart to time them, or not necessarily what it's supposed to be about, but it's really smart to time them so that you can make money off of them. And so if they want to drum up nostalgia, I guess that makes sense. I'm also like, again, I'm a Romeo Miller stan. I really was a Little Romeo. Like, I loved Little Romeo over Little Bow Wow. That was my boyfriend. That was my husband. He was on my room. He was on my walls in my room. And so I know a little bit. Again, I don't know any of these people, but I know a little bit about the drama of like Master P and his ex-wife Sonia, and it was very messy. So I'm glad to see Master P's doing okay. Hopefully he's taking care of his self as well. I know Little Romeo is doing his best. Romeo Miller is doing his best to be a good person, a good father. He used to be on Love and Hip Hop doing Bible study. So I just wish the best for everyone involved, but especially the Miller family. And I just want Romeo to know, like, I don't mind stepmothering certain kids.
I'm sure you don't.
So. And then that reminds me that today, because it's Halloween and people are redoing shit, this is too young for you. I will say this is absolutely a divide between the two of us. So Keke Palmer redid Honey. She redid one of the dance scenes in Honey, and she did the part where Romeo comes in at the end. And I think what I'm trying to say is I'm embarrassed by how many times I watched Honey as a child. And people, it's when people say like, oh, you watch it for the plot, and the plot was Romeo. I watched that movie so many times. Like, I'm embarrassed by how she brought that right back. Like, I had suppressed those memories that I had sat up and watched that movie and took it so seriously. Mind you, she killed it, and she would have been great. Like, if we could remake it with all dark skinned leads, I think we should. But yeah, I remember watching that movie over and over just because I was just such a stan of Romeo at that age. So thank you to that for bringing those moments back. Those are things I remember. Paris Hilton, who I don't necessarily go out of my way to support, redid Britney Spears in the Lucky video. The red leather suit. That's not Lucky. Am I crazy? Oops, that's not Oops, I Did It Again. Was it Oops, I Did It Again? Anyway, she redid Britney Spears. She did it amazing. She has her husband, in the astronaut suit. So, like, I do love this love of creativity we get around Halloween. It makes my day. I just got my costumes delivered today, so I'm excited. So that's what I've been on.
So all of Twitter was basically like, they don't know if they want to see any more verses unless it's Chris Brown versus Usher. That's what people kept saying. They want to see Chris Brown versus Usher. So maybe that'll happen. That'll be the thing that gets everyone back to watching. It's Chris Brown versus Usher.
Heavy sigh, heavy sigh. I do not think they're contemporaries.
They're not contemporaries. One is influenced by the other.
And I think that's kind of the point. So it's like, just say Usher's on his own lane and let him do his residency and let Chris Brown heal from what he needs to heal from and move forward. Let's do that.
Well, that's what the people want to see. So
that's what some people want to see, because some people don't support Chris Brown.
Not as many people as you would think.
I said what qualifier did I use?
You said some. It's a lot smaller than some. I would say like a small percentage of people don't like him.
There's a loud group of supporters, and then there's a annoying group of people who want to deplatform him. That's all I'm saying. And annoying, I mean like they make enough noise that I'm a part of it.
Well, it's very small because
I'm also really, I don't think, maybe you should look up how small it is.
It's
maybe
pretty small.
It
used to be bigger.
Your echo chamber?
No, it used to be bigger. Oh yeah, my echo chamber. It used to be bigger, and over time, it's gotten smaller and smaller and smaller.
I mean, I think that I think it's smaller relative to like the bigger fights that, like, there are bigger fights to fight for sure. But with that said, it's like, for example, Mystical. There's still some verses that I go hard. Like Mystical could have changed the tenor of the verses with just his verse removed, bitch. He could have easily brought out Ludacris just to do it for fun. Like if he could have did, there's a couple singles he had that I can know still by heart. But again, I think he might actually just be in jail right now. But if he's not, I think it's smart to deplatform
didn't even
people.
play any of his verses because
that's what I'm saying. That's smart, and I appreciate that. And so I say all that to say that
but I don't think people see Chris Brown the same as Mystical.
So I say all that to say we don't have to platform people if there are controversies around them. Like there's ways to go around it because there's so many artists, and I think that's the thing. There's so many great artists. Like there's many conversations to be said about how many artists there are. So I know that people like to advocate for Chris Brown, and I could see how much music, like volume of music, sure. And I actually could see, again, like you said, the inspiration. I can see the parallels, but I'm not going to ever sit up here and hype that nigga up just because he does backflips. Because guess what? There's people out here who've done backflips and haven't stalked ex-girlfriends, you know?
That's true. I think that stuff has helped him. Unfortunately.
I mean, I think that everything goes with like the pace of society, right? So
well, what I mean by helping, I said that wrong. I meant like the fact that like the people, I think a lot of people, like in like 2014, like 2013, 2014, 2015, he was like persona non grata. Like it was like yeah, he might be done in this town. He had like some diehard fans, and then everyone else is kind of like he might be done in this town. And then as time goes on,
you're missing a part, but you're missing a group there. Before you go to time goes on, there was a small part that was saying, how bad was it really? That group always existed.
But then as time went on, and Rihanna and Karrueche kind of got like friendly with him to a certain extent, people have let it go. And so now it's people look at him like, oh, he's changed, even though that was like 6 years ago. Well, it was a little longer ago. Maybe it was like 8 years ago. It wasn't that long ago. He was still a grown ass man, but it was like 7-8 years ago with the Karrueche stuff. And so now people are just like, oh man, isn't he such a talented artist? Like now that we're past that, and so they just kind of forget about it. Is what you kind of see.
I think that's not wrong. The nuance I would add to it though is like I used to be a big fan. Like I was a girl who was I was the age, I was the exact demographic when his videos came out. So like I was a fan for a while, and I remember the awards when they announced like Chris Brown and Rihanna couldn't make it today, and that was when it all happened. Like I remember
Mhm.
all of that, and then I remember afterwards being like, I don't know what opinions I had, but I think I definitely would have been more sympathetic to him because of patriarchy and like how I was raised, like not how I was raised by my family, but how society had raised us in the early 2000s, right? So I think you have to be, I think my default, and I think we talked about this before, but maybe I haven't been as explicit, is that everyone is born into our society, which is like racist, ableist, um, sexist, and you have to educate yourself out of that. I think it's like you have to empathize and educate yourself out. Everyone's born into it. It's very hard to be born in America. I'll just speak for us and not be born into that. You might have some Gen double A's or whatever they are that are finally in that environment, but like from today going back, the odds of you being born into not an ableist, sexist, xenophobic, whatever society is slim and none, right? So you educate yourself out. So I admit where I was at that time, because I remember the fucking what's the guy with the big hair who did the Larry King interviews. I remember him and his mom sat up there, and his mom just made excuses for him, and he had put on blue because blue is a color that's trustworthy, and like he just basically. I guess what I'm trying. I don't want to go on and on, but an
No, I get
interesting,
exactly
I
what you're
think,
saying.
but a parallel to tell my point is that around that same time is when Ti got in trouble because his
Yes.
friend Falant, rest in peace, was killed, and he was going to retaliate, and he got caught with guns. Like he got like some federal stuff that he could have done. Like Ti served jail time, he could have served way more time. Instead of that, he went out and he went on a campaign to publicly talk about the effects of gun violence. And I remember that, and that's kind of what I could be over attributing, but that's what got him into this reality TV show arc, because he was just sitting on TV lecturing the kids, and then we found out he had a great vocabulary, and then boom, Ti tiny, blah blah blah, right? So I
Mhm.
don't know how much all that was parallel. So what I'm saying about Chris Brown is that he did not
Yes.
do the proper
Yes.
atonement, and I don't mean that in like, oh, he owes us an apology. I mean
No,
that
I know.
like his platform, yeah. And so he actually
Yes.
did not change or grow from that. So the whole point was that people were doing the Dylan Roof, and I'm going to say that's obviously different, but people were doing
But
the
no,
he's
you're
so
right.
young.
No,
But
you're
this is
right.
19, he's 17, he's 19.
No, but the problem with that argument, I had
Yeah.
this on a podcast years ago. Is the problem with that argument is I don't necessarily agree with that argument. Well, I don't agree with the argument, but I'm saying at the time, I don't necessarily agree with that argument. But I could listen to it if it was just the one thing way back when he was like 19. But he had a history of doing this. This was like over and over and over and over and over and over again. Like, okay,
Yeah.
he's like 27 now. What are you talking about? He's like 29 now. What are you talking about? Like, what are you talking about? He was young. Like, no, he's still doing this stuff. No, absolutely.
Yeah. And I would also I put a little bit of the onus on the women. Like I did not understand Rihanna's choice to. I understand forgiving him if you want to. I did not understand making a new like making a damn EP with him. I didn't understand that. I think that like that because that
That
does put you in a
rehabilitated.
position where you say
Yes, that rehabilitated
yes,
him. Those things did.
because you can always say, you know what, the survivor dictates in restorative justice. The survivor dictates what the consequences are. So if Rihanna doesn't care, then okay. But then it's like, I guess for me, it just got into, and then Karuchi, like
Same thing.
it's the same argument people are making about why would Megan Good go be with Jonathan Majors, because then people are just waiting for us to find out he did something crazy to you. Not that I'm wishing it on her. I'm just saying like
Right.
the general, some of the public might say like, oh, once he does this, he does that, like you should be warned. So I do think there's a bit of like women thinking that they can save men that we need to like
Absolutely.
walk away from. But again, I think in that moment in time, I do understand it more, and I give them the grace to say like, you know, you get to just because you didn't deserve that to happen to you at all. So all that to say, I think that if people, I think we either need to admit that the music business is only for disgusting people, or we need to only platform people who have not
Well, I
actively
think
worked
the
their way out of
music
it.
business is talent over everything. I I mean, that's
But
essentially
is
what
it
it
because
is.
but I think what we're missing though is that like there's talent that
Unless
falls
your
through cracks every day
talent
'cause they won't
is directly related to your music. Like I was talking to my buddy Scar and Rashani about this, and we were basically like, yeah, the one person who would never lose a versus to anyone is he who should not be named, who's in prison. He would not lose a versus to anyone. The problem is I haven't listened to one of his songs in 15 years because it's impossible for me to separate
to
the
listen to it
artist
and not
from
think
the
about it. Yeah,
from the art. Like I know that
exactly.
James Brown was a bad person, but I can hear a James Brown song and not think about him beating his wife. I don't make that connection doesn't come up as soon as I hear his music because his music is not about that. Whereas I can't do that with Kelly because he's literally singing about the stuff that he does wrong. It is impossible to separate the artist from the art.
No, I think that's very good to talk about because there is like a split conversation about like are they talking about womanizing and gang violence and all these other and this is general talking about music, or are they talking about like are they singing about love while they're beating on their wife? And then it's like then you need to be in the know to even know to disregard them. I think the interesting thing, the caveat with the arcade thing is his victims, his survivors make money when you stream him now. So on the flip side,
Do
the
they?
people who yes,
Oh, I didn't know
it was
that.
a part of one. It's new,
Oh shit! I didn't know that. I still
but
probably
I
won't
still
listen.
don't. I exactly like I still won't be streaming his music, but I feel less like when B2K comes. You know what's so fucking
'Cause he
crazy?
wrote so many
B2K has a
songs.
remix.
Yes.
No, B2K has a remix that's both R. Kelly and P Diddy.
Well, yeah.
It just disgust.
Well,
and
he
so it's
wrote
like, but
so
that
many songs
song-
for so many people too. So it's
exactly,
kind of
right? So
hard
it's
to
like,
avoid him, but
and I'm okay. Exactly.
But it's
So where he has
yeah.
a writing credit, do your thing.
Yeah.
But where you are listening to him talking about "Step in the Name of Love," it's like I don't really think, and I think the point you're trying to make is the point I give people about dairy intolerance. I grew up being able to eat dairy, and then one day I was eating it, and I was like, "Ooh, my stomach hurts," and then I kept trying to eat it, and my body was like, "Chanel, you cannot eat this anymore." And one day I said, "You know what? I'm gonna give the dairy up, even though I'm not like breaking out into hives." And I stopped having headaches, and my tummy stopped hurting, and life was better. So my point is that you can get over everything because I used to love me some cheese. Used to love me a bowl of cereal. You know what I'm saying? So if I can get over dairy, y'all can let go of this music and focus on something else. And the last thing I want to say, going back to your talent point, is that the problem is the system is so monstrous sometimes that talent slips through because and this is like a random thing, but I can end it here. I make myself sometimes watch documentaries about women survivors because it's so easy to turn an eye and be like, I don't want to know about it. One of the more prolific people who did this was Russell Simmons.
Yes.
And Russell Simmons sexually assaulted one of his like VPs of his A&Rs, like one of his people who was out to discover music. And because of that, and because of and this is alleged, but I'm only saying allegedly because I don't know if I'm remembering cause and effect correctly. So he definitely sexually assaulted her and
I
forced
mean, he
himself
fled
on
the
her.
country.
Yeah, he led her to his house to say, let's go listen to some new music, and then assaulted her, right? Like this totally 100% happened. She's a light-skinned, tall, gorgeous woman. Like there's no, oh, these are women who are trying to get after his money. She worked for him. It was none of that, right? So she did that. Because in retaliation, him and L.A. Reid, this is allegedly part, stopped paying attention to her artists that she would bring around. So she says that she had John Legend in a room with a piano and they did not show up for his interview because they were boycotting her in response to the sexual assault. So my point is that when these systems are so fucked up, talent always slips through the cracks. It's not always talent rises to the top because it ends up being like these gatekeepers are gatekeeping.
Well, no. Yeah, you're right. What I meant is once you show you have that talent, people and you connect with people will ride with you through almost anything
independently. Like Vic Mensa just put out music independently. Go support that. Like I totally Chance the Rapper's independent. I think. But T-Pain's independent too. I agree with that. I think I think Mega might be independent. Whoever it is, definitely go for it. Support
like
independent artists.
If Beyonce did something fucked up, people would not just be like, you know what, I'm cancel Beyonce, I'm done. That would not happen.
It would have to be real bad. It would have to be, but it could happen.
It would have to be it's not even real bad. It would have to be a series of bad things.
Yes, no, but it'd have to be like Yeah, exactly. But it could happen. No
one would care about that if Beyonce did that. They would not care.
You're wrong, because what you don't see, because you don't see everything. You think you see it, but you don't see. No, but on the thing is, I see threads of people being like, y'all love black billionaires so bad, but they're doing XYZ, because there was a dinner where she sat next to Ivanka and them, and people were like, I'm tired of her. So like there is
but that's such a small percentage of people.
But it's a percentage enough that people I don't follow. It was a trend that I saw. So my point is that it's not one little person on a computer. It's enough. There's some. I guess what I'm saying is it's proportional to the amount of people who are leftist enough to actually like divest, and that is a percentage of people who are willing to divest from anything. And then there's a percentage of people who are divest if you convince them, and there's a percentage of people who never divest. So I'm just saying, like, I don't want to discount any small group, because those groups there's a small ass group of radical racists who are in control of everything right now.
But
so
my point is,
I'm not saying that group's smaller than that.
There are people who have much smaller and way less fervent fan bases than she has, who do fucked up shit, who keep their fan bases. So the idea that someone as fervent and bigger fan base as she has, it would have to be many fucked up things.
I'm not disagreeing with you, but I'm saying that you're operating in a system where there's been no dialogue. Every time she does something, there's a dialogue about she stole the music.
Those things are targeted to your algorithm, is what I'm saying. To our algorithm, I think your algorithms are targeted. But like, if you look at like how sales works, and like whenever she puts out anything, it immediately, like, it's making the most money in the world. It's not any amount of people who are believing those things that are significant enough to make any differences. Whereas like with R. Kelly, he has his fans, but it was enough. R. Kelly was one of the biggest people ever. And there were enough people who were like, I'm done with him, that he is essentially erased. He's not erased out of history, because you don't erase history, but he's, I don't hear, if you go out somewhere, I mean, maybe people do it in like their cookouts still, but like in public, you don't hear his songs anymore.
I've heard him at a concert recently, and I was upset.
That happens, yeah.
But you're not wrong. I think the thing is, it depends on what part of the dialogue you want to assert your point at, because I think what you're saying is not necessarily wrong, but it's not always true. And what I mean by that is, like, there was a time when the R. Kelly stuff hit a fever pitch. The fucking what's his name? The movie guy, Weinstein, that hit a fever pitch. There was talk for a while. Not everyone knew about it. Some people. So I'm not going to tell you that anything is impossible, because there's so many impossible things happening, and I think about that all the time. Like, there's no, like, there was a time, and I'm genuinely pulling stuff out of my ass, but it's because it's relevant to me. There was a time when, like, it was enshrined in law that we were not fully human, and so it's like, and people were like, I'll never not own slaves. What the fuck you mean? I'm gonna keep them to the, you know what I'm saying? Like, we recreate our world constantly, and that's the thing. That's why people need to stop pretending like what they do doesn't make a difference, because it's the same. If you believe that going back in time and kissing your mother, right, would make Biff not be alive, or make Biff be a loser, then you got to believe that what you do now affects the future. Do you get that reference? There's this movie called Back to the Future,
and it was this guy
named Michael J. Fox, and it came out before you were born. It came out before you were born. You had to go watch. You was watching it in your Huggies. Don't play with me. You was born in 1981.
That definitely didn't come out in 1981.
When did the first Back to the Future come?
1986, I believe. Not 1981.
Okay, whatever. Oh, okay. Well, anyway, at some point he went back to fucking 1841. So the point is that you weren't there for that. And so the point I'm trying to make is like, but do you understand the reference? Because I don't know if you're hip on all the movies from that time period. Because I've studied the text. No, I'm messing with you. But yeah, so I think we have to be positive, and we have to be delusional, because it was this white man, I don't know his name, and I don't want to know his name, set up and wrote like 1,400 pages about bringing back slavery, and how if you work slowly but surely, you can break down the federal government. And literally, those pamphlets he passed out are happening in real life. So you cannot tell me that white supremacy can have the power it has, and we can't be over here and be like, you know what? I think people are going to stop liking his music. Something that small, I think, can happen. Nobody's too big to fail And I think that's something we've learned. I just think it can take a lot. And there might, no matter what, there's still gonna be people no matter what, going for it, because there's still people with Confederate flags driving around. So we don't even have to worry about the outliers of people who won't face facts.
But there's a big thing
Only
with
thing that's
music
arguments.
is probably the hardest thing to do that with out of anything because
Of how it psychologically.
how it makes people feel, right?
Yeah,
like
I totally
it's
agree.
music. It's like I don't think Dr. Dre is a great person. He hasn't done any fuck shit that terrible recently, but he never really apologized or did anything for what he did way back in the day. But Dr. Dre is my favorite music person
to D Barnes
ever.
or to Michelet.
Yeah, he hasn't apologized for any of that. He hasn't apologized. He hasn't. Well, let me take it back. He has apologized, but like not anything I would accept. It was.
Well, he was gonna apologize, but then you tweeted him and said, "Don't ever say sorry. We don't. Men
No,
don't
I
say
didn't
sorry."
tweet him.
I think.
But
starting a rumor.
It's Dr. Dre's music meant something to me. So I like Dr. Dre's music, but I'm also not going to be like the thing that's always been weird about me with Chris Brown, more so like 10 years ago than now, but especially like 10 years ago, it wasn't that people were just like, but I really love his music and he's such a great performer. It was like what you were saying. He was so young. Like you had to defend his actions. If you like his music, just be like, look, I don't support what he did. I don't support what he did. It's fucked up. I hope that he apologizes
but I don't think
and
about
gets
it when I hear the music.
Yeah, but
just
I like the music. Just say that, and I can understand that because everyone has something like that. Everyone has something problematic that they enjoy. Everyone.
Right. Oh, you mean everyone has something problematic? Sure.
Everyone has something problematic that they enjoy.
Exactly. And so I think the whole exercise is just trying to figure out, well, what line do you want to draw for yourself today, and can you have better morals and better principles tomorrow? Because I think this all goes back to, if you want to talk about like art of war type bullshit that men want to talk about discipline, be disciplined. Have that same level of discipline in your life. Like this is not a female like mindset I'm talking about. I'm just talking about the basics. Like if you have a thing you do and don't do, then you need to believe people when they're telling you, hey, this is crossing that line that you say you don't want to cross. And if you don't care, then say, hey, I hang out with people who do that to women, and I know they do because people have told me and I ignored them. So yeah, I definitely it's interesting because we get on these tangents and I think they are important, like dialogues. I would just end by saying, like, I don't think I've ever told this story on a podcast. If I have, I'll keep it short either way. I have not had that many serious boyfriends, but I had someone I dated for 2 years very seriously, and like actually like very much thought we were going to be married because we talked about it and we met each other's families, XYZ. And it ended badly for a relationship that was like very God-centered and loving at the time. And so the point is that his relationship with the person he's still with overlap with our relationship. That's kind of a whole bunch of other stuff happened. I was at fault too, but the relationship ended because he started dating someone who was just his friend, and they've been together now 7-8 years. The point I'm making is that at one point, I think it was when I had COVID from the concert, but it could have been another one. I was in bed with COVID and I'm scrolling and I'm looking at these, I try to support other Black podcasts, like any other podcast where I see, I'm like, okay, I want to follow them and try to like be supportive just from my page. I scrolling, I haven't seen this nigga in years. I'm talking about years. Blocked him on everything, blocked his brothers, blocked his whatever, mutuals, blocked a girlfriend. This motherfucker pops up on my feed, Brandon, on one of those men's healing podcasts talking about holding Black men accountable. And he was going on a rant about how like Black men need to do better and Black men need, and I was like, the nigga who cheated on me?
How many years later was this?
It was no apologies years later. No acknowledgement to me years later. So I don't know. I don't know what's the statute of limitations on lying to me, cheating, and
I didn't say he didn't. I didn't say he did anything right. I said maybe he was being introspective.
I'm asking. Right, but my thing is you introspective, but it wasn't introspective. He was talking about holding. I'm telling you the clip.
Oh, he wasn't talking about himself.
Other men. He wasn't saying it wasn't a clip of. And here's what I'm trying to say.
I see what you're saying.
It wasn't a clip.
He wasn't saying like, look, I did this shit. I know how fucked up it is. We got to be better.
Exactly. No.
Okay.
And even if he was saying that, my point is that for him to go onto a platform knowing where that ended and knowing that he did not do anything to end it better or make it like because we dialogued after the breakup and he told me his girlfriend didn't want him talking to me, so like, we didn't even I didn't even get an apology from him because the girl that he cheated on me with was like, hey, cut her off, right? So my point is just to say, like, I had to practice all the, like, when people want you to let go of them, you have to let go of them. I had to do all that. And I guess my point is to say, like, before you go on this platform, speak to me directly and see how I feel about it, and then you can go on and say about men are shit and you're holding each other accountable. But I'm not trying to see you platform, because the comments, Brandon, were, this is so refreshing. Black men need to be more like this. This man is a king, and I'm just like, bro. This person wronged me specifically, but if I pop off in these comments, I'm gonna look crazy. I'm gonna look bitter. It doesn't
Yes.
matter what he did to me because the narrative is now this. So my point is, if I can be impacted like that by a man who did not assault me, I can only imagine someone doing something to you, and then all you see online and everywhere else is, this man's amazing. He can do backflips. Oh, look, the people rigged him up and he flew across the thing with, sparkles coming out of his drawers. Like, if that is all you see, it does very much say, hey, the way individual women get treated doesn't matter, because this man excites women in general. It doesn't matter what he actually did in real life, because the fantasy of this man being great is so good, and it is hurtful. So I say that, like, my points from before: education and empathy. When you learn better, when you know better, you do better. And then when you think about how you would feel if you have a trouble thinking, oh, I wouldn't even feel that way, then, like, okay, it doesn't have to be about you. Somebody else is telling you they feel a certain way. Hold space for that. That's how it comes down to. Now, will I turn off the radio if Chris Brown's on? Maybe not. I'll just change the station. Maybe I'll listen to it. Maybe not. Like, it's not that deep, but it
I
is worth
absolutely would turn
thinking
it
through.
if R. Kelly came on. I can't separate.
I don't.
I don't
Yeah.
have
Oh,
the ability
absolutely.
to do it.
I have no interest. It doesn't even sound as good to me anymore. I promise you, it doesn't even. That's my point about dairy. I would, if I drank milk now, I'd spit it out. I'd be like, "What is this? Is disgusting. Why are y'all drinking cow udder product?" Right? But at the time, when I was indoctrinated by big dairy, all I did was love milk. But now that I've been
My
saved,
my big thing, the thing that does not drive me, but the thing that I do subscribe to is, I do find it odd that people can't just not like something. They have to, like, this is in general speaking. I'm not saying this is everyone.
Mhm.
If you don't like something, you don't have to lie about it, is what I mean, right? Like, I can call something bad and not lie about the bad thing that I see. So, for example, like, I can say that R. Kelly probably had more hits than most people while also thinking he's terrible. If somebody were to say that, I'd be like, no, he didn't. Did you see what he did to those women? I'm like, those two things are not the same. Those are not the same conversation. He did horrible things to women. He made hits. Admitting that he made hits does not mean I'm dismissing that he did bad things to women.
Right.
Those are separate
Right.
things. And I see it all the time where it's like somebody bad does something, and then if somebody else was like, for example, like with like OJ, let's use OJ for example, right? OJ obviously did some terrible shit. But if I saw a clip of OJ playing football when he was incredible at football,
Like, that nigga was fast.
and somebody's like, LJ Simpson was one of the best running backs of all time, you don't have to say it doesn't. If you say he's one of the best running backs of all time, that does not mean you're saying that he didn't kill those people, right? If a clip comes up of him playing football and you say he was one of the best running backs of all time, look at his record. He had that record, and then he retired, and then he did some movies, and he was funny, and everybody loved him, and then he killed those people, and then he went on for about 15 years gloating about it, and then he went and robbed somebody who had his own shit and went to jail.
Yeah,
That's what
they
happened.
They got to get that. I will say though, the reason why what you're saying makes sense when you say it, but some men are implying, some people are implying that because he's the best running back, that's all that should matter. Everybody's not giving space for that, and I think that's the problem. Like, some people do want to say, well, merit over everything, because, like, even I have to have those conversations with my dad about, like, hey, there's no secret coven of women training to come after you for everything you're worth. There's nobody in the wings waiting to sabotage you and take you down, and I say that because he just in general is like kind of paranoid about these things, or we've talked about most of these things, like Russell Simmons, we talked about that, and his thing was like, well, how do we know it's not fake? And I'm like, well, because only 2% of reports are false, and it's way more. Yeah, and it's way more underreported, right? Like, yeah, he would have stood there and fought. Because you know who stood up there and swore up and down he didn't do nothing until the video came out that showed he did? Did he get on camera and say, I'm so sorry, y'all, my bad? Then we saw the video and people were like, oh shit, I can't pretend it's not here anymore. My point is just to say, like, there are still some people out there who
100%
do think like, and it's the same people who vote for billionaires when they make 60K. And it's like you think you're voting towards this idea of like manhood will return. We're going to make men great again. And it's like equality is just something you like, once we've all tasted it, we're not going back. So it's just a question of like, how much do you want to be drugged to the finish line?
Oh yeah. No, I agree with you. I just meant like, if someone brings up him being a good running back,
they're not trying to overcome
when someone's talking shit about OJ, you'd be like, yeah, but he was a great running back. That is dismissing the bad things that he did. What I'm saying is, if you watch a clip of him being a good running back and you go, actually, he wasn't that good, and you're saying that because he killed someone 30 years later, I don't understand that logic. I don't understand saying he wasn't actually good at that.
I guess because they're doing some product and they're like, okay, well, he might have been 100% football and 20% good human being, but there are some people who are 80% football, 100% human being, and the average of that is better. So there are people,
but they weren't talking about him as a human being. It was like I see it comes up all the time.
No, but I'm saying, because for some people, from a football perspective, they can't separate the character from the football assessment. Like, that matters to them.
How does that? I don't understand how that makes any sense, because it happens all the time. Like, this happens all the time in practicality, because he had so many records. So whenever a running back does something, they'll show a list. It happens all the time in sports. This is the people that had over 2,000 yards, whatever, right? And he's always on that list because he had over 2,000 yards. And then you'll look in the comments and people will be like, why don't they just erase OJ off that list? You know what he did later. And I'm like, but what he did later has nothing to do with that. That's what he did at the time. You're not going to erase someone out of that list.
Honestly, this is one of our best conversations, because I could actually continue this, because I think you have a good point, and I think there's like the asterisk of it all, but then I think you have to go to the pack and be like, all right, well, whoever has a joke about it might be Shane Gillis, or somebody has jokes about like how Daniel Tosh, the records weren't recording before Black people weren't in the league yet. So let's go back and redo all these records. You know what I mean? Like, who gives a fuck that you could run 100, you could carry a literal pig from one end go to the other if there was nobody defending you that was competitive enough. Like, I think the problem is there's a slippery slope when you start
that. Works both ways. Yeah.
Exactly.
That works both ways.
No, I agree with you for that reason. I'm like, I don't think people are really ready for it. And so
you tell the story, like, much less serious, but like Barry Bonds is not in the Hall of Fame, right? Because he did steroids. But the people who advocate for him to be in the Hall of Fame, most of them, they don't pretend like he didn't do the steroids. We all know that he did the steroids. They say that the Hall of Fame is a museum. It's a physical place. It's a museum. When you go in the museum, he should be in that museum because he is one of the 5 greatest baseball players of all time. And on his plaque or his statue or his thing where his museum is, you tell like they do everybody in the Hall of Fame, you tell the story of Barry Bonds, and you include that he took steroids. You tell the story. But you don't just say erase history like he didn't do what he did. He did it.
What you're saying is rational, but I think where you're forgetting is that we don't live in a meritocracy like people say we do. We live in a patriarchy. And so that means that like stuff like people's reputation or like the layers of like race and class and all that go into it. There's also like not even what you're saying pretends like people will sit up and read that. People aren't literate. People take statues they take them for fact. You know what I'm saying? That's why we had to get rid, because people were putting up people take statues for fact. I could say that. Just that's why we had to get rid of the Confederate ones, because it was like, what the fuck do you mean? Why would this man be somebody y'all want to pledge allegiance to, right? Like, so I do think you're right, but you're
Yeah, but I
saying that in
think
society. That would happen in Europe.
Confederate
That would happen in
figures.
Europe where people can read.
Yeah, but I think Confederate figures and people who were prominent in the Confederacy should be in museums. Like, I think you should go to a museum,
totally agree,
and they
but
should
my
have a
point
thing.
is-
If they have a thing about
Right.
him, it could be a thing about him and tell
But
you
I
about
think-
him.
Right, but my thing that you're saying is you deserve to live in a European society where people are educated, and a less racist European society where people are educated and they're all rational. We live in a society where gold statue means good. Nobody cares about the other stuff. Nobody reads a plaque.
Yeah, but you
Everybody
can't
just
control
wants
that.
a
though.
narrative.
I think you got to
I think-
behave
I
in
think-
the way that, like,
I'm
if
surprised you didn't vote for Elizabeth Warren. That's
I
you
did.
come off to me as somebody who
in the primary, that's who I voted for.
I don't miss because that's your candidate because you are rational just like her.
Yeah, so I voted for her in the
Wow.
primary.
Are you not shocked that I just guessed that? There's a lot of primary candidates. I just match you to your primary. Is that not a gift I have?
Yeah, I liked her. I like Castro. Those are my two
You're
people.
missing this. I just correctly guessed your
Yes.
primary.
I am.
Is that not
I
impressive?
call myself a pragmatic progressive. That's how I
Is that
describe
not
myself.
impressive on my part that out of all the
You've been
candidates, I
talking
didn't
to
say
me for like
Buttigieg?
5 years now. It'd be shocked if you couldn't figure that out.
Well, who did I vote for?
I don't think you liked probably any of those people.
Who did
That's
I
my
vote for in the
guess.
primary? I voted in the
Uh,
primaries, and I liked who I voted for.
It was a lot of people in the 2020 primary.
hmm I mean, I think Harris was there, Buttigieg,
No, you definitely didn't
Warren,
vote for them.
Sanders. Wasn't there what year was that? John Kerry.
It
I'm
was
just kidding.
2020. No, was it 20? Yeah, 2020.
Presidential primaries.
I don't know. I don't remember anybody except the few major people.
I'm pulling it up for you because you need to tell me because you just said I'm supposed to know Bloomberg.
No, it wasn't him.
Bloomberg, and you literally just said you'd be surprised if I didn't get it. And so, Clinton, duh. Biden, Sanders, Warren, Bloomberg, Klobuchar, Gabbard,
definitely wasn't him.
Clinton. And, okay, well, guess what? I've named who I voted for.
Yeah, I know. It was probably Tulsi Gabbard.
You take every chance you can to disrespect me, and I'm not okay with it. And that's a perfect way to end this fucking segment because how dare you? How dare you?
What? The
Wasn't she the
leftists loved her before she was fake.
Wasn't she the witch? Was she the witch?
Yeah, she had the streak in her hair. Yeah, that's Tulsi Gabbard.
Okay. See, now listen, let me say something. No, it was a task force. They called it a witch hunt. I want a candidate who's actually a witch, who like does spells.
Oh, that does witchcraft?
Yeah,
Marianne
I'm looking
Williamson
for a
probably did
witchy-
witchcraft.
Have I ever told you that Marianne Williamson coached me in middle school?
That's unfortunate.
She coached me in speech. She was an amazing coach. I had the best experience of my life. Her kids went to school in the same school I went to in Michigan. She's a great in person. When I did not put two
I'm
and
sure
two
she
together,
is.
I was like, I
She's
know
just a
that
little
lady from
loop. She's a
somewhere.
little loopy.
I said, I know that lady from somewhere. Now, I don't want this to be how she finds out I didn't vote for her in the primaries. Wow.
I mean, why
Anyway.
would you? She could be
Because
a
I
fine
know- I mean,
person.
if-
That doesn't mean I have to
people
vote for
talk
them in the
about-
primary.
I will say, like, I hate, like, in high school when people are like, oh, it's all a popularity contest instead of, like, who actually would be the better class president, because I never won an election in high school. But my
Exactly
point is,
what it
like, in the primaries, it would actually make sense if I vote for the woman I've met who has coached me before. That would make sense. There's two women who would make sense. It would be Williamson and it would be Clinton because of alma maters. We both went to the same college. So there's two reasons why we vote. Those both make sense. But in the primaries, that's not who I voted for. Neither one of those. Actually, I'm a traitor. The more I think about it, I'm a gender traitor. Anyway, we don't
Mm-mm.
have to get into it. I'm just telling you, you don't know me as well as I know you. Either that or I have a gift and you're trying to downplay it, but I just did a very cool thing.
You
I
did
just
do
did
a
a very
cool
cool
thing,
thing. Okay. Well, anyway, we
but
can
it's
move on.
not hard to
That's what
tell
we've been on.
because I am very
It could,
pragmatic.
well, that, I mean, pragmatic, but like, there's also a layer of you have to be like, you have to be gender inclusive to even fix yourself to vote for a woman before Kamala. So, like, honestly, like, kudos, because there's so many men lied about their ability to even do that.
Well, yeah. I mean, yeah, obviously. Yes, that is very problematic. But I mean, that's who I liked. I liked her. She was a
She
little
still
old for
haven't
me,
figured out who
but
I
I
voted
liked
for,
her
y'all. Again, I'm happy to have someone
because
guess.
I don't want
Um,
to. I don't want it to be the person that I think it is. So I'm not going to pretend that it is. I don't want it to be that person.
okay.
I don't. Don't.
I think you know.
I don't want to be on a podcast with a Bernie bro. I don't. I just don't.
I am once again asking you to start the story.
I like him too. I like him. He's just
How
not
was
at
that
all
accent? For what?
pragmatic. It was a
Oh, I
bad Brooklyn
totally agree.
accent.
I totally agree. I totally agree. There's no, if I could go back in time, the things I would do differently. But I think I'm just really big on like whoever at that time, whoever was appearing the most open to being leftist, I was with. And
Yeah,
I
but
think that like
that's the problem with leftists. That is the problem with leftists. You gotta
again, I mean, obviously,
get power at some point to make the change that you want. At some you can't. You have to get the power
I
to
totally
make
agree.
the change.
I mean, yeah, but like I was
and
already
then
on like
and
get
then the
rich at
person
that
that
point in
does
life.
that represents the left has to be someone that can act. My thing with Bernie was I liked most of his ideas. I just had no absolute belief that he could do any of those
He could make
things.
it happen. I
He
think
could
that like
to be the one to
Elizabeth
make it
Warren
happen. Whereas like
in
Zoran
hindsight,
Mamdani, I actually think he can make it happen. He has that kind of demeanor to me that he can believe in what he's shown it. He believes in what he believes, but he's gotten people who don't align with left ideology to be like, I like this guy.
But I also think there's context. So like I don't even know how I don't know what a Warren Trump 2024 would look like. I don't actually know. Right? Like I think that the context matter and the opponents matter.
No, the
so
person
much
who
in what's
won
happening.
was the person who needed to win in 2020 in the moment that we were in.
Or the primaries.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, you scared me.
Yeah.
No, yeah.
No, in 2020.
I totally
I'm
agree.
saying he
think,
was the person who had to win in that moment.
Right. But with all that said, like I think Elizabeth Warren actually was the best candidate, like hands down, when you put them all, stack them up and put the
I
priorities
thought
together,
Castro was a very good candidate. He just had no chance to
I don't
win,
even
and I
know who
didn't
that
want
is.
to
That's a step. Yeah,
Julian
exactly.
Castro, and I didn't want to waste my vote.
And then the other part about it that you just said that's funny is in terms of getting stuff done. Do you remember on the oh my God, Hugh Grant, the show we talk about all the time randomly, the 6-episode series Hugh Grant and Blondie, AMC.
Oh, no, it was on Apple.
AMC. No, the AMC lady. The actress who's the
Nicole
AMC
Kidman.
lady. Nicole Kidman.
Yeah.
Nicole Kidman and Hugh Grant. The Undoing? Is that what it's called?
Yes, The Undoing. Great show.
Do you remember? And they remember the grandpa who's the guy who's President Snow from Hunger Games, who passed away. Remember his scene where he said, "I am a cocksucker."
Yeah,
You
Donald
have to be a real
Sutherland.
cocksucker. Donald Sutherland, thank you.
Yeah.
Kiefer Sutherland's dad.
Great actor.
See, it's all coming back to me. The point I'm trying to get to is that's what Mamdani needs a little bit of. He got to have a little bit of cocksucker in him for him to be able to get it done. I think he has a little. He has that little bite to him.
Yes.
And Bernie didn't have that.
No, he just likes screaming. And you got to have that so that you can actually get there to make the change.
But I want you to say, so clearly I'm not anti-Semitic. Clearly I support.
Oh, you got a black friend?
The people. I simply don't support the genocide.
Yeah, you got a black friend. I see how it is. You got black friends. You went to school with a black person. In fact, you play on the same football team as a black. You play on the same football team as a black person.
I have 4 black grandparents. My family's from Detroit and Atlanta. I am black. Don't talk like that because I'm light skinned. People get confused.
You went on the same debate team.
Gay friend would be better.
As a black
friend.
person.
That's what you should say. You should say I have a gay friend because then that's a better allegory because I'm black. So it's not a good. You're implying that I'm not black and that's why it's a good metaphor. I prefer if you use like
I'm
something
implying
I'm
that that's what they say about us.
That is what they say, but you're saying to a black woman, it's gonna confuse people because I'm light skinned. That's what
I think people are smarter than you give them credit for. I think our audience is smart.
I think you do give them more credit because you think motherfuckers are going to a museum and reading the shit that the asterisk that say Barry Bonds was high when he did that.
It wouldn't be an asterisk. If you're going, the person who's going to the Baseball Hall of Fame is looking looking at the shit that's there. If you go there, the person who goes to any museum, if you go to the African American Museum in DC, you read the shit in there. Or else, why would you go there to look at the pictures? You look at the pictures online. You go there to learn. The people who are going to those places is to engage in that stuff. Is my opinion. I wouldn't. Is what I think. But let's get into this episode because I actually had to pick up my mama. But this was a great conversation. So let's get into the recap. I'm going to put a timestamp on 1 hour and 3 minutes, Chanel.
That's what I'm saying. I'm like, what just we're on?
Once upon a time in the projects, yo.
All right, so this episode, I didn't care that much for, Chanel. Did not care that much for it.
It was not great. I didn't enjoy it. I was like, what the hell is going on? I'm confused.
By the way, Chanel, after it went off, because my wife's gotten into the show, I showed her the Sloppy Steaks YouTube video, the sketch that you made me watch after we got off last week.
Wait, no. You let your wife watch it?
Yeah, she watched the Chair Company with me.
No, that's a bad introduction, though. I feel like
no, she's watched the Chair Company.
But I feel like I don't want more people to not get it. But okay.
And she says, "This is stupid. This is not
I would have
funny."
liked to give you a different intro sketch for her. Sloppy Steaks just came up. You have to guide people into I think you should leave. It has to start soft and then you go into the more hardcore stuff. I jumped you in and that's my fault. And it is stupid. It's emphatically stupid. That's kind of the whole point.
This episode picks up where the last one ended. Ron's walking towards the closet. He opens the door and it's a bald man.
Okay, wait. Remember at the end of the last episode, you were like, ain't nobody in that closet. They've been in there. And when he popped out, when that bald man was in there, I screamed. I said,
this was so unbelievable. That man bursts through the door and then bangs into the wall, and nobody in the room right next to him even flinches.
He goes, oh, did y'all hear it? Nope. And then runs out. But again, there's a family. Have you ever had like family consternation?
Yeah, and if I was banging against the wall, my family would hear that shit.
But you could get away with it because they're like, oh, he's just down there playing his own Twister. Like people just ignore it because they're so caught up in their own drama. That was hilarious. So yeah, there actually was a nigga in the closet, and he's, like Brandon says, he's a little person who's bald. We've never seen him before. He's just in the closet chilling, bro.
He runs outside, and Mike and Ron goes after him. We find out that his name is LJ, and he's one of Mike's guys. Because Mike pulls up, it's like, hey, that's one of my people. Like I didn't know what you was doing. You came to my place of work. Like I had to have some contingencies. And so Mike says, anyway, I found something out. You know what we were talking about before. I found something out. Let's go talk about it. So they go and talk about it. And he says, look, I met up with Jim X. He got paid $50,000 to have me scare you. And then they're in the garage.
Because normally it's like $300-400.
And then LJ starts punching shit on the wall.
Okay, wait, hold on. His name is LT, and that matters because I beefed out with somebody with those same initials, and so I was like, huh. Well, of course, the asshole. No, just kidding. I'm going too far. But LT is just. First of all, he says, "Keep it down, guys. My family's here." He knows the family's here because he's been hiding in the closet. But this is the only scene that had me like, all right, I kind of. This show is necessary because LT's just losing his mind, and he's just mad that they're not giving him the attention he deserves because they're talking about something pretty important. And like Brandon says, LT just starts knocking stuff off of shelves.
He says, I gotta stop drinking. And
And
then
they're
he
like,
tells,
okay, like what?
and then he says, "Shut the fuck up for 1 minute."
And everyone freezes.
And they both shut up for 1 minute.
I think it's like there's so many things because Ron is like, okay, I don't know this dynamic, so maybe like this is important. Like I feel like Ron's looking like, okay, is he gonna get mad at him? Because I can see if Mark gets mad at LT and like cusses them back out. I don't know if he's shocked. And then Mark is like, it's Mark, right? Isn't that guy's name?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then Mark is just like, I
Mike.
thought Mark was about to cuss him back out.
Mike.
I thought Mike was about to cuss him back out and be like, how dare you? So they literally were just quiet for a second. And then to punctuate the silence, he knocked something else off the desk. I'm like, please get him out. So that's what pushes him to get out of the garage. But and this is when it is unrealistic because he's in the garage for a minute, but they knock over Jeep stuff. So Jeep stuff falls into the floor of the garage because of him like carrying around.
Ron comes back in and his wife Barb is like, "Where the fuck were you?" But she's like mouthing it to him because Tara is on the ground freaking out because she can't do one of the moves in Twister.
Well, yeah, it was okay. This was giving. I'm reading into this. This was giving lesbian couple or a sapphic couple, and one of them is really sensitive. And she was giving the sensitive one because she was like, I told you I can't put my foot on the. And so it was giving like, yes, my family has accepted me, but I'm still struggling with like small boundaries and like feeling like they respect me and also feeling like I need them to care more for me. Like I very much knew this person. I've met her before. So she's on the ground like, and she asked for her gummies. So I don't know. I'm assuming she needs CBD gummies, but it very much was giving. I thought it was very great because it gave a lot of context about that family dynamic without giving us anything.
So the next morning, that night, Ron has a dream that LT's back in his crib. So he wakes up out of his bed. Yeah, that's what I said. Dream. And he goes downstairs with the broomstick and he starts poking in the closet, both closets, to make sure he's not there. And then the next morning, Barb wakes up and Ron is still downstairs. And she's like, "You've been down here all night? Like, what the fuck?" And then he starts freaking out about invaders. People can invade our house. We need to get a security system. I need to protect you. What if somebody come in and attack my wife? We got to be able to stop it. I'm serious, Barb.
He says, intruders break into your house and make you kill each other in front of them. They make you slit each other's throats. Barb, I don't want to have to slit your throat. It's so specific. That's what, and again, I was laughing at this part because I'm like, why is he so specific? And the crazy part is it does happen. Like he says stuff and it's stupid, but I'm like, it does happen.
Well, yeah, everything happens.
He always has a point. He always has this much of a point, and that's how he keeps me going.
By the way, speaking of anything happens, there's so much stuff that we take for granted. I saw a picture today from Curiosity, which is the rover that's on Mars. And it's of like this ridge of Mars. And it's like a 4K picture of Mars. And it's just like scrolls on your timeline and people just scroll past it, maybe hit the like button. And I looked at that and I said, we sent a machine hundreds of millions of miles away, perfectly landed it on a foreign planet with a different atmosphere and everything from us. It is now roaming that planet and has the ability to take a 4K resolution picture, send it back to our planet, and then someone's just putting on the internet to say, look at this, we took a picture of this thing. And I'm like, I literally stopped what I was doing today. I was like, this is crazy that like I get it. Like it's just a normal thing, but like, this is kind of incredible thing that's been happening. And we just look at it like, oh, let's go look at this dog video.
We're spoiled by novelty. Like it's like too far. Yeah,
by the way, I'm not a huge fan of generative AI. Except, I don't know if you've seen this on the socials, Chanel, because I don't get on social media that often. But except to talk about sports mostly, and then when there's like a cultural event. Have you seen the videos of Nat Geo Pokemon? Have you seen that?
No.
So someone is making videos of Pokemon, like the old Nat Geo shows. This is a Pikachu. Pikachu grows up like this, and look at the mother Pikachu, and the mother Pikachu's holding them, and then someone in the forest comes and attack. They had one with Charmanders, and they were talking about the Charmanders growing up, and then they had poachers come and take the Charmanders. It's like the poachers come and try to take the Charmanders, and then the Charizard comes and burns down all the poachers and kills them all to get her baby Charmander back. It's like telling like Nat Geo stories of all the Pokemon. I'm obsessed with it. I'm sorry that came out of nowhere, but I'm obsessed with that. I meant to say that in what we've been on, but I forgot. So then we cut to work, and they're in a meeting, and they asking Ron about shit. He not really paying attention to him at all. And one of Ron's employees just watches a bug go into his iPhone charger. It's like just watches it just for like 2 minutes, just walking to his charger. And then when he leaves, he goes, a bug went into your iPhone. And Ron's like, what? Like, what are you talking about? And he just leaves. He goes, and this meant nothing. This whole story plot meant nothing. I thought it was going to mean something. It meant nothing.
No, it didn't come back around. That's what I'm saying. This show, I'm not saying episode 4 won't bring us back to a place where everything makes sense, but this felt like a lot of like strings just dangling and hanging. And I'm like, okay, does that connect to that or that? Okay, all right, I guess not. Because like even I think where it already lost me. I'm telling you the moments where he had me because a lot of it already lost me. Like mind you, I'm still mad that Mike sends a person into his house and it's like I just wanted him to watch. Like that already made me mad. And then you have this moment where it's like these random people and these random things, but that black man I think is in other sketches. Like I remember him from something, so I think he might be. I think you should leave alone. I could be wrong though. I've seen him in something though, but yeah, like randomly. So I'm thinking it's gonna make him paranoid or it's gonna crawl out the phone. No, we don't see the roach again. But they're doing it in he's doing his job partially now. So like they're actually negotiating putting new like stuff into the museum, and it reminded me of when Baby Billy had that church in the middle of the mall. But basically they're trying to like negotiate space, and they leave, and the people in his office are like, oh, this looks great, Ron, we should do it. And he's like, no, we need to control it. I have a vision for this mall. We're not going to let anybody else. Basically, he's like, we're the big dog, and whatever we want to put in there, we're going to keep control of it. So like he has a vision for this mall that is, in a way, I'm like, okay, great. Like he's showing leadership. And the other way, I'm like, okay, this is another way this could go left because he's like not necessarily hearing everyone. So we'll see TBD on the corporate of it all. At all. Yeah, he's like, no, I have a vision here.
Okay, yeah, I'm so obsessed. I had to show you this. Look at this, This is what I've been watching.
Hidden in the alcove lies a Pichu cub. Its mother, fallen prey to an arbok, has left it all alone. No one remains to teach it how to face the dangers of the forest. Driven only by hunger, Pichu takes its first steps. A berry, irresistible. Clumsily, it rushes toward the fruit. What it does not know is that it is being watched. A monkey spots its prey. Pichu, absorbed in feeding, notices nothing. The predator leaps onto its target. But in this very moment, a violent electric shock, strong enough to paralyze its attacker, granting Pichu the time to escape. This is the life that awaits it. And so, experience brings evolution. Now, Pikachu, it has become a far more formidable creature. Birds fear it, great predators respect it. Few are bold enough to face its lightning. Mostly, Pikachu feeds on berries and seeds, yet, on rare occasions when hunger strikes, small insect may find its way into its diet. Among the most social of Pokemon, Pikachu often aids smaller creatures in distress. Some call...
Tell me that's not obsessive. Tell me that's not cool. They're doing it for all the Pokemon. All of them.
Show me Infernates and I'll hear you out.
I think they did Infernates. Why?
Okay,
Because they said it because they said it on
because that's Vigilante's favorite
Vigilante
one, yeah.
shit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you didn't think I picked that up. I picked it up.
No, I knew you. I expected you to pick it up. That's why I wouldn't bring it up if I thought you was gonna whiff it. Yeah. I mean, I see it.
Did you talk about? Did you talk about Douglas yet?
No, we need to though.
Okay,
It's very important that we.
so
This is what I'm saying.
Douglas
It's very random, but my favorite part of the episode.
Douglas comes to Ron and tells him that he's having a party and you can't come. And Ron's like, all right. He's
He
like,
goes, I
no,
think you should know you can't come.
you can't come because when the boss comes around, people get nervous, and I don't want people getting nervous and freaking out, and they can't let their hair down.
And mind you, he's having a bad decisions party where he
No,
wants
mistakes
people to
party.
He's making a mistake. He wants people to feel free to make mistakes.
He's having a mistakes
What's going
party,
on, Douglas?
and he wants people to feel
Douglas.
free about that. And he's going to give
Douglas.
them bracelets, and you're going to have
It's
yellow
a
bracelets
stoplight
and green
party.
bracelets.
It's a stoplight party where, and he has, this is later, but he's handing out the bracelets and he's like, if everyone takes a yellow, this won't work. Somebody's got to do green. And I'm like, Douglas, you cannot coerce people into saying they're down for whatever. That's not how that works. That's not how consent works. They got to have, like, so basically everyone's like, yeah, this is work. I'll come to your party, but like, I'm cautious. And he's like, I need some of y'all to let y'all freak flag fly. Somebody gonna have to come green up in this motherfucker.
Well, they coming. So at work, so then he goes to this government building, and that he looked up online. Excuse me. And he wants to get information about the deed to the warehouse that he went to. So he fills out this request form. He puts a fake name on there. And then while the person at the desk is going back to handle that, his commercial comes on TV. And he starts freaking out because it clearly has his name on the commercial. And they're like, if they see this, like, they're gonna know something's up. And then they see the lady at the desk talking to her manager in the back. And so he starts to freak out thinking it's about him. And she comes back out, she looks upset, and he says, did your manager like say something to you? Like, are you in trouble? And she goes, yeah, my boss is freaking out. She says, I gotta go home. He's like, why? And she says, I need to go home and take a shower because I stink and nobody wants me around here. And Ron's like, oh, thank God. He didn't say that, but you can see it on his face. Like, oh, thank God it's not me.
And it's little stuff like that where you're like, I don't know what this is for. I don't know if this is because it happens and we need to expose it, that people talk to each other at work, or that it never happens and it's just ridiculous. Or like, I don't know. I never know why he's doing the things he does.
So she processes the request and says, the last person that came here was way meaner than you. And he goes, oh, yeah? And then he pretends to drop his pencil so that she can turn around so that he can take his phone out and snap a picture of the computer to see who the last person who was looking up the deed was. And then as he's leaving, the woman's boss goes, you need to leave now. Go take a She said, go take a shower.
Go take a shower. She says it to on the intercom.
Go take a shower. So then back at work, Jamie comes up to him and says, your video's doing numbers on YouTube. And he goes, oh yeah? And she's like, it's mostly good comments, but there are a few people who don't like the football. And he goes, oh, really? And she starts reading the comments about how the people don't like there's not going to be any football, including one person that's basically like, they're going to come fuck you up if you don't put any football in the mall. And so Ron leaves. He goes back into his office, and he starts looking up the Red Ball website, and he finds that it's the name of the company's like Red Ball Incorporated or something like that. And he starts
Red Ball Business Management, something like that, RBGM.
And he starts going through their entire website, reading every page about me, contact us, our partners, financial history.
Like I'm
and
talking about all night. Like he's there, like the clock's like spinning around, show like days are going by. He's just sitting there, people going out home for dinner, obsessed.
He gets to the executive board page. But before that, he sees he gets to the executive board page, and it's a picture of the executive board standing in front of the red ball. And he goes, that's the same ball. He's like so excited. That's the same ball. And then he starts Googling all the executives to get like any information he could possibly get on them. And then the next time we see him, he's at a diner with Mike, and he has printed out all the executives like he's a detective going to meet someone and discuss the case. And Mike thinks And Mike's like, oh, this one she can't be a part of this. And Ron's like, oh, really? You know her? Why she can't be a part of it? And Mike goes, you see how fine she is? Like, what? She can't possibly do this stuff. And Ron's like,
she's too cute. Not her.
Ron's like, I don't think that got nothing to do with it. She's like, I don't know.
He's like, that's not how it works. He literally is like, let's just take her out the pile. Like, just that's what I'm saying. Who is this for?
It's for, I don't know. So the person, they find out who the person was that checked out the board. His name is Steven Draco. And he asked Mike to look him up. And I forgot, he had made that call to customer support earlier. He's still on hold from the same call. Did you look at his phone? It said 5 hours.
Yeah, he was just.
So he never hung up.
But again, we knew it was going to go back to that same call center from the beginning. There's no way it was going to go to an actual number. So
then they start telling stories with each other, and Mike says that his ex-wife tried to kill him, and he's like, "How?" And he was like, "Yo, she put them roast sparks in my food. It was fucking with me." And so
she was putting Viagra in his food.
That's what I just said. Roast sparks.
What's that?
That's the new. It's red.
See, I don't even know.
But instead of it, but listen, instead of you taking it like a pill, where like any pill, it takes a while for it to go through your system.
Suppository.
No, you put it under your tongue and it dissolves, and so it happens instantly. Roast sparks. Yeah, I just taught you something.
You didn't like. Thank you. You know what? And I hope I forget that before I need to know it. But yeah, that's what he basically said. She's poisoning him by putting honey pack in his smoothies. I'm like, okay.
So then Ron says, "Yeah, I know what you're like, because my dad was a great man. They even got a bridge named after him, and I've had a hard time trying to live up to him."
That's a lot of pressure. That is actually a lot of pressure. A bridge is crazy.
And then he gets on the customer service. He's like, why don't you call the customer service people back? So he calls the customer service people back from the original time. He hangs up the other one. And he goes, I know who the fuck you are. I figured you out. And then he starts yelling at him and shit. And I'm like, yo, what is this? What is happening here?
They both just cuss out it's like you are on a recorded line, and they just start calling them pussy, and they just start cussing them out and everything.
It's like, you have to talk to me now. That's what he said.
It's the fact, it's the fact that they've been drinking. And again, all Ron actually wanted was an apology. Like, if he could have gotten somebody on the phone to just say they work in marketing and they're sorry, I think this whole show would have been over. But it's the fact that it's a whole conspiracy. And then Mike is just there for a good time. He's just there for chaos, honestly. He's simply an agent of chaoticness, because he's just sitting there cussing into the phone. And so, but the thing is, like, now that's being recorded. So it's probably, if we are to believe, there's some guy, Jim X, paying money to get, like, there's this shadowy board and this Illuminati thing against him. Now we have more fuel of the fire. But it's so funny because he's like, why would they come after me? All I did was send an email. Like, all I did was make a phone call. And the more you think about it, he's creating a paper trail to make him like the public enemy to this company.
So then he gets a security alert, and it's Seth out back drinking some beer. So the next morning, he looks
Mind you, Seth's like 17.
He wakes up, he sees a call from somebody that could be Tecca. And he kind of
I think he wakes up and he's like having that I actually really appreciate the directing here, because they show like that groggy-eyedness when you wake up and you can't really see your phone all the way, which I have all the time. And so one thing he sees is, one, he's hungover. Two, he sees that he made that call and he remembers the voicemail he left and he regrets it, because he's like, oh, I was acting an ass, basically. And then he also sees that his son, he had left a note for his son saying, we need to talk. And his son was like, oh, I know you're already asleep. Like, let me know when you want to talk. So all of like everything that had happened last night kind of comes back to him. Oh, he's like kind of groggy from the night before.
He gets to work and Douglas is talking about the mistakes party. And Brenda comes in and tells Ron she's like, look, you got to deal with this football thing at the mall. So he gets a message from his son.
What football thing?
Because he touched his son that he needs to meet with him. So his son's like, I'm on my way to this place. So then when he's leaving, he gets in the elevator and is with the woman that he saw up his skirt and is mad awkward on the elevator.
And she goes, "Are you going to the mistakes party?" He's like, "No, I'm not going to the damn mistakes party." She goes, "Oh." And then she hides her green wristband because she's down for whatever. And I'm going to say this right now. She can be down for whatever. And she also can have not liked having her skirt looked up. Both of those things can happen at the same time. But I, to this day, do not know why she did not step back and bunch her skirt. This is the only time I'm blaming victim. But her having a green wristband is a choice. I hope they don't try to slut shame her the rest of the season.
So he gets a message from his he gets off the elevator. Mike pulls up and says he found Draco, and Ron's like, I gotta go somewhere first. Hold up. So Ron gets to this diner and Seth's there. He confronts Seth about drinking. And Seth's like, yeah, I went to a party and I started drinking. And so now I have them every once in a while. But I'm not alcoholic. The most I've ever had was 4. And Seth's like, please don't tell Mom.
Yeah, he's basically, because Ron's distracted with all this other stuff, he's not hearing, like, these are warning signs. Like, his son is not, that's a lot. Like, his son's drinking 4 beers, he's 17, he's drinking on his own, he's looking for attention, and Ron's like, yeah, like you said, all it comes down to is, let's not tell Mom.
He asks Seth if he's depressed. And then Mike shows up, and he's like, he basically tells Seth, if you do a good job, I'll give you $100. And then he asks him, what do you drink? And he says a latte. And he tells the waitress, I want what he has. And I'm like, this random man just shows up. Like, Seth has no fucking idea who this person is.
He's definitely, so he's definitely doing his, like, act like he's the waiter act like he's the manager or the maitre d', like going around saying hi, which is awkward because then it's just like a weird hovering thing because all he had to do was wait outside or ignore them. But he, like, it's kind of like, I'm trying to think of, it's like when your parents are religious and so you introduce them to your person you're dating as a friend from school. That's literally what it felt like, because he was just like, oh, I just want to say hi, whatever. And I was like, Mike, leave them alone. Like, Mike is irritated. I think it was Mike. Mike was who irritated me this whole episode. Every time Mike came up, I was irritated because I already didn't like the podcast he was listening to. And then you got him popping into their business when he don't need to be. You got him sending people to his house. Mike is the problem.
So then they pull up at Draco's crib and they start banging on the fucking door. He comes out and he starts freaking out because they're like, do you work at Tecca? They ask him like they the cops and shit. And he's like, leave me the fucking alone. He slams the door and yells at him. So Ron and Mike go back in the car and basically do a stakeout.
He yells, he's like, I'll get rid of the papers. Don't worry. I'll throw it all away. Don't worry. Because he thinks they're Tecca and that they're coming after him. So we find out that he's probably on their side in terms of, like, researching Tecca, or like he said something about how he used to work at Tecca. So, like, there's, but he thinks, like you said, that they're the police, or that they're Tecca coming after him. So I automatically was like, okay, so Tecca definitely has enemies out here because he's scared of the same people probably.
So they stake out the house, and then when he leaves, they break in the house and they're looking to find those papers. And this house is messy as hell, dirty, just grungy, grimy. And
I was completely lost. It was a hoarder house with humans in it. Okay, sorry. Humans live in hoarder houses. I get it. But, like, it was like for no reason, there's a room full of stuff. And his mom is just laying on top of this stuff, like a pallet of stuff.
Asking for popcorn.
She's just saying popcorn. And they start freaking out and they're like, okay, I guess you want popcorn. And so Mike throws a bag of Doritos at her and he's like, she don't want chips, she wants pop. So he starts freaking out. They freaking each other out. And then she starts yelling and they're just like, okay, we need to get out of here. So they start, fucking slapsticking it. And they go and he just goes, just grab as many papers as you can, which made no sense. That made 0 sense. So they're grabbing papers, they're slipping or whatever. I get Mike's taking the snack to go. It's just chaos for no damn reason happening because they broke into the house and the mom is just sitting there. So mind you, are we going to figure it out like how we saw the red ball, the meaning of the red ball at the end that we saw at the end of the pilot, episode 3, we see what it means. Are we going to figure out why this house is like this ever? Maybe not. Is a roach from the phone coming back? Maybe not. But they're just dangling all these random things, and I'm just very confused about why the house looks that crazy.
So then when they leave, a woman comes downstairs, and she kind of has
she's like,
discerning
oh,
look
she's
on her face.
yeah, because she's like, oh, somebody was in my house, and so I'm like, who's this bitch? We don't know
Ron gets
anything.
home and Barb is downstairs having some wine, looking very concerned, and he tries to be like, "Let me get some of that wine."
Hilarious.
She
He goes,
starts.
oh, I didn't know you was downstairs in the dark drinking wine, Barb. Such a, if you ever come home and your wife is at home, just if she's mad at you, I need you to say the exact line. I need you to be like, oh, I didn't know you was drinking wine, sitting here angry. Oh, what's going on?
She says, "What's up with them Jeep tours?" He's like, "What are you talking about?" She's like, "I know you're doing the Jeep tours. I saw the fucking box, Ron." And Ron's like, "What are you talking about? Like, I'm in a good place now. Yeah, I wanted to work for myself and I didn't want to go back, but I went back and I'm in charge now. And it's like having my own shit. And nothing can happen there without me making a decision. And I love being there. So stop accusing me of shit." And Barb was like, "Yeah, okay, I'm sorry about that, but you're clearly hiding something from me." And Ron sits down. He gets a serious look on his face and he says, "I caught Seth drinking. That's why I wanted the security system. I had an inkling about it, and I wanted to make sure." And she goes, "Oh man, is he okay?" He's like, "He's okay. He's okay. I'll handle it. Don't address it with him. I'll handle it." But that's what's been going on. So
I hate this. Like, I'm glad he brought it up. Mind you, they already made a little pact not to tell mom. But I hate that he brought it up. I'm glad that I think they should discuss it, but I hate that he uses that to cover because it's just going to make him deeper into a hole. And I don't know if he's trying to like protect them because obviously the protection's not there because LT was in your coat closet.
yeah, so the next day at work, Jamie shows up, and apparently Doug was an asshole at his party. So things did not go well at the mistake party. Ron goes to meet.
I can believe that because it was a mistake. It was a stoplight party where he forced people into the green category. It was not a good look from the beginning. I get that he's not taking life so seriously, but Douglas, you cruising for a bruising.
Ron goes to meet with the top team, and they are like, basically, we got to do something about this football shit. We could have a sculpture or a mural.
They have they literally have a old like somebody who basically played high school and football in Canton crying on the news saying how it's not fair, it's not right.
And so Draco shows up at his job, and Ron's like, "Get the fuck out of here!" And they go into his office. He's yelling this shit about he wants his papers back. And Ron's like, "Look, I'll give you."
He's
your
like,
papers
"I don't have
back.
your papers on me." He's like, "I'm not carrying them around all day."
And he was like, "Do you know any of these people?" He makes him look at the execs. He picks out one of them, and he says, "All right, if you tell me about this person, I'll bring your papers back. Now get the fuck out of here." So then,
mind you, he's like, "How did you find me?" He's like, "Dude, you're on the news." So Ron is definitely struggling to process that, like, locally he's becoming known, his face is out there, so he can't be doing B&Es casually. He just can't.
He also says that he used to work there at Tecca, and they made him repair chairs in the nude.
They have him doing that, like on Narcos, when they're packing up cocaine and they have to be naked so they don't steal anything. That's how they have him on a Narcos.
And so Brenda comes in after he leaves, and Ron goes back in, and they basically made the decision. But before he can say that, he tries to give this passionate speech about why they shouldn't allow any football there, and and they were like, "Yeah, that was a very passionate speech, but while you was gone, homie over there made a more passionate speech about why we should have football, so we're gonna do some football." And so then, as he's leaving, he gets an alert, and he thinks it's Seth again. He's like, "Oh, Seth, come on!" But it's a guy in a fucking hoodie at his job, at his house, with a Jason mask on, sitting in a Tecca chair in his backyard, doing freaky horror movie shit, looking at the camera, and then it goes off. That's the episode. You don't got nothing?
What the fuck? What was going on here? It was just a lot of like, every episode he gets a moment, which is fine. And every man deserves to let off some steam in a silly goose way. But I need it to be plot driven, and I'm not comfortable with Mike. I don't want Mike coming around the kids. I think Mike's a piece of shit, is what I'm trying to say. And I don't think he can be a better person.
It's something. All right, so now do the
'Cause
outro.
what do you mean you sent a little? What do you mean you sent a little person into my closet to spy on me and my family?
Well, you
And
did.
then he
He
go-
did show up at his job.
Right, but then between showing up at your job, as Ron said, between showing up at my job and sending the person, you gave me a loaded gun. You gave me. I could have killed you if I was gonna set you up. I would have killed you right then. It doesn't make sense. Mike is just also like pissing me off with his whole like. I talked to Jim and Jim said Jan sent that. Like, I don't like it. I need it to make sense. I need some of these things to connect because otherwise it just feels a little bit like. I do think like arc wise, right? In terms of, is this 10 episodes, Brandon? 8 or 10?
8.
So arc wise, right? We're cresting towards the end of the beginning. So we've established characters, we've established the conflict, we know what the wife needs, we know about the kids, we know there's going to be some more going on there and some like disappointments because that kid who's trying to get to college and trying to get a scholarship, he's not showing up for him. The boy who's been drinking himself to sleep, the girlfriend, the daughter and her fiance got all kind of stuff going on with that family. Maybe we'll see them, maybe we won't. Him and Barb haven't had their fallout yet, but we know they will. The football thing is interesting. Like I guess I'm just he has these conflicts at work that we're going to see how they resolve. And so maybe this season won't be about him losing his job. Like maybe not. But I guess it also makes me wonder, is this like a seasonal show? Like, does this story continue somewhere after this? It like, what do they have in mind for this? Cause I guess I'm not understanding where we're going. I'm having a little bit of trouble trusting, but we will be back next week. We'll be recapping first and second episode. We're like, the fact that you had never seen it before and you enjoyed it means something. So we're going to give him his grace. I always say you got to give it a show 3 episodes before you throw it away. So we're going to see what episode 4 looks like. But as of right now, I'm confused. We apologize. I had a fever dream and thought that we recorded the Gen V finale. In my mind, I remember talking to you about it, but we didn't. And so we still owe the people to Gen V. I got a DM today about Gen V season 6, episode 6. They're like, what the fuck? And I was like, that's a great point. I was like, that is a great point. So we're going to record that for you guys sooner than later. We're down to 1 show right now. So enjoy the space and time that we're giving you until we ramp back up to do more shows in November. Thanks for listening. This has been the We Was Watching podcast, where an aspiring blurred and baddie are here for you guys while we recap TV and film that is comedy, fantasy, sci-fi, TV, silly shit like this show, and all the politics in between. You got a lot of politics in this episode. Again, let the timestamps guide you. If not, enjoy the show. We appreciate you guys for listening. Hopefully the audio quality is back now that my mic is fixed. And dang, we really do need like an outro that we say every time. And to this, it's been years and I haven't figured it out yet. So thanks for listening. Don't forget to rate, subscribe, like the show, please. Share us with others. We love you. Bye.